do we suspect a bacterial superinfection in our COVID-19 patients?
That is a really good question. So I think with COVID, a lot of focus has been on COVID itself, and kind of that initially takes up most of the thought process, or at least clinical decision making. But I think one at least way to think about it is if you do not see a response wherein somebody is getting better from a respiratory standpoint, they're making improvement, but then all of a sudden you're down this path wherein they've got fevers, they've got a worsening cough, they just clinically are not getting better, they're getting worse. And a lot of times that points us in a direction wherein if their shortness of breath or their symptoms are worsening, given at that point we think about PEs, are they aspirating, is this now a superimposed infection? So that's kind of the time where, at least from my end, I pull the trigger of getting additional imaging or a repeat CT or a repeat chest x-ray at that point, and then further labs. Again, it comes back down to clinical gestalt. If somebody has fevers, their white count is worse, they're showing signs of cough with increasing yellowish, thick, greenish sputum. Now, it's not going to be that way all the time, but just clinical deterioration wherein they had a good recovery, which has now been stalled. Again, it's important to keep the differential diagnoses broad. Every small change in clinical status is not going to be a bacterial infection. It could be PEs, could also just be worsening of the initial pathology itself. But these are some of my pointers where I think about that this person might be in with an additional infection. Procalcitonin, again, I've not been overly reliant on it. I do get that lab and I do monitor it, but it's more of a trend, as in if somebody comes in and is initially negative and then all of a sudden I see a very elevated procalcitonin, then definitely that points me in a different direction.